Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take on your family, your business, can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, first-timer on Ron Siegel Radio. Krista Tucker is with us. Avail Outsource. Welcome.
Hi.
Glad to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by, and I know I've got it there.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
It's kind of fun when you try and do the radio show and you can't hear some of the things that are going through. Hey, just to remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. Again, reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Hey, what are we celebrating today? We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Today, we got a lot of good stuff to celebrate. And having beaten anorexia, I'm ready to celebrate. Well, maybe I'll celebrate all of them. Today is National Hamburger Day. Now, I guess you can't go to McDonald's for this one because it's also National Beef Burger Day. Is there beef in any of McDonald's hamburgers? Obviously, they are not a sponsor, so I can. That looks a lot better than a McDonald's burger, doesn't it? And the fries go with it too, huh, Josh? Okay, and today, this is a good one. Today's also National Brisket Day. Now, I don't know. Isn't today Wednesday? I think today's Wednesday. I have to wait till tomorrow for brisket. If you want the best brisket around, I'm going to tell you, and again, I've tried a lot of brisket. No, not the ones for the Jewish holidays, because that sucks. I can say that because my mom's no longer with us, not listening. I'm not a big fan of the briskets we had in the house. So now what do? I go to Hickory and Spice in the city of Orange. Rick is a good friend. I've been going there since the day he opened. World champion pitmaster. So if you want great barbecue, Hickory and Spice, and I'm going to have to send him a note telling him that he should have opened special today for brisket, although I always have some of his brisket in my fridge. I got to stock up because it's only open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday until they run out of food. And it's amazing how many people get mad when they run out of food. Why am I talking about? Oh, is this a commercial for Hickory and Spice? You know, it takes him, I guess, 20 some hours to make the brisket. It takes 3 weeks for him to make the pastrami. So if you want good stuff, Hickory and Spice, City of Orange, it is the place to go. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 108 points. S&P 500 is down 10.76. NASDAQ is down 13.86. Oil going the wrong direction. I like it when we see oil go down, but oil's up $1.45 a barrel. But it's only at $62.34 a barrel. So, you know, I watch it. I'm not sure why I watch oil anymore. It does affect mortgage prices. So I guess that's part of the reason. Not as much effect as it had several years back. And yes, I have been doing this since longer than most of you are old, but that's a different story. The gas prices here in the formerly Golden State, $4.83 a gallon. Ow! $3.16 is the national. I think I paid $4.45 at Costco yesterday. And then there's Josh over there laughing at me. What are you about, $3.50 a gallon, Josh? $3.50 a gallon over there in Nevada. You know, and I think we looked up one time. Don't you have one refinery over in Nevada? Isn't that about it? And I guess we're closing more refineries than they have in Nevada, and our gas prices are at $4.83, still the highest in the country. Even the oil-producing state of Hawaii. Oh no, they have sugar over there. They don't have oil. They're at $4.48 a gallon. So when I watch the gas prices and see that oil is up $1.43 a barrel, it's not going to affect us here in California. We still get what we had voted for. Yes, I said it. We vote for high gas prices because we keep voting for the same people. If we keep voting, maybe if we get somebody different in office, maybe we'll get a benefit and we won't have these crazy gas prices, amongst other things. And now we'll start seeing some moderation in some of this stuff now that Gavin Newsom is running for president. Oh, no, he hasn't announced yet. He's just doing everything that would make us believe he's running for president. Unbelievable. Hey, have you watched the latest fight that Gavin Newsom is going to have with the president? Yeah, it's going to happen right here. And those of you that are in the Inland Empire, and I know there's a lot of you out there in the Inland Empire, you're right at ground zero on this one. And I can't believe it. You know, you got the guys in women's sports. That's the latest fight. The president said the executive order does not allow guys to be in women's sports. You know, I'm just going to throw this out there because, you know, it's a stupid thing. You know, if the guys can't compete with the other guys, you know, go do something else. Women's sports are for women. They're not for men. I don't care what you say. And going and saying, oh, I got a record because I was able to beat women in women's sports. Well, kick the guy out. I'm not that I'm opposed to getting political. I don't mind. But the bottom line is it shouldn't be happening. Let the, you know, if they want to have a trans competition, go for it. But just because you fail in the men's side, I just don't get it. I watch these things. I don't understand them. You know, you watch what's going on right now in women's basketball. And the only star in women's basketball was Caitlin Clark. Now, I saw, Angela Reese the other day came out and said, we need to strike because we're not getting paid appropriately. Your league is losing $40 million a year. Do you think maybe the owners will probably say, go ahead on strike, we'll lose less money? And Caitlin, you know, now she's out for 2 weeks. I don't watch much of the women's basketball because I get tired of watching basketball in general. It's kind of crazy right now, but I digress. Let's move right along and see what else is going on in the world right now. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He's making some news, and they said he would. So he's getting to the point. And again, this is another one that I just don't understand. So the banks were regulated, and they could not hold treasuries, or they were penalized for holding too many treasuries. How do banks make money? Well, they get your money, they pay you nothing, and they invest it in something that pays them a lot. That's the basic. That's just going down and breaking bank profitability to the very simplest stage. Well, Bessent is saying, well, that the banks should have a lower regulatory hold on treasuries. Now, U.S. treasuries are pretty secure investment. So if that happens, if it comes through, and he says he's going to make it happen by the end of summer, well, that's going to put more demand on U.S. treasuries. More demand, if we don't have more supply, will end up bringing the prices that'll help us with the yield. So we'll get a lower yield on the 10-year treasury. As we get that lower yield, and Bessent wants it to get to 3.9, and he's one of the first treasury secretaries I've ever heard, and that goes all the way back to the 80s when I was listening to Alan Greenspan doing speeches at Chapman College. It wasn't a university then. But you go and you look, and Bessent understands that there's a spread between the 10-year treasury and mortgage-backed securities. That spread right now is about 2.6. And if I look at 4.49 on the 10-year treasury, and yesterday Mortgage News Daily said that the 30-year fixed was at 6.97, call it 7. So that's better than a 2.5-point spread. Bessent says it needs to get back to the more normal number of about 1.8. That will help us a lot when it comes to mortgages and housing. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, outsourcing. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again. The secret of selling your house in today's market and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 1990 and every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. Don't have a mortgage calculator? Why not? It's free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Conventional 30-year fixed rate loans yesterday, 6.882. That was down. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 7.137. That was up. FHA 30-year fixed, 6.532. That was down. VA 30-year fixed, 6.439. Great loan for our veterans, and we appreciate every one of you. USDA 30-year fixed, 6.524. That one was up. And the best loan on the market, yes, I said it, I believe it, and I am right. That would be the Home Select loan from Geneva Financial. GetHomeselect.com, GetHomeselect.com. And it's going to challenge everything you've ever heard about a loan. Highest interest rate we have with the lowest interest expense. Have your loan, your 30-year loan paid off in 8 to 10 years. GetHomeselect.com. Let's see what's going on in the markets right now. We're watching as the S&P 500 is now down 10.35. Let's see the 10-year Treasury. Got to go to my backup screen because the primary screen is giving me trouble today. So we've got a 10-year Treasury. It's up 4.9 basis points. 4.49 is the yield. That's the interest rate on that one. And if we look at the mortgage bond, that bond is down 17 basis points, which means interest rates are up on the mortgage bond. Remember, bonds and yield, they go in opposite directions. All of that information is available on that super secret website, google.com. Or if you're so inclined, my thought partner, ChatGPT, sometimes it's my only thought. ChatGPT gives you that information, but it doesn't tell you why. What's driving the markets today? Well, no real news coming out today. We do have Fed Speaker Kashkari is speaking, and you know my thoughts about the Federal Reserve.
Such an idiot.
Yeah, they seem to be getting it wrong every time. We will, about 11 o'clock California time, get the Federal Open Market, the Fed's meetings, the minute meetings. With all the Fed speakers that we've had this last week and a half, not going to really be anything new there. What's new, though? Fannie and Freddie going public. They're talking about it again. Recent social media posts. How else do we hear from President Trump? Oh, yeah, he's on TV every day. Jeez. Signaled he's interested in taking Fannie and Freddie public. Big question is, would it impact rates? Well, if they go public, yeah, it's going to have a negative impact on rates. So the government's going to continue its implicit guarantee, or the understanding the government will step in to support Fannie and Freddie in the face of any crisis or default, which means it won't have an effect on interest rates because of the federal guarantee. Again, if the federal guarantee were to go away, loans would be riskier and rates would likely rise. Fortunately, President Trump definitively addressed the state of the implicit guarantee, saying, quote, I want to be clear, the U.S. government will keep its implicit guarantees, unquote. Maybe we can get him to do it through Congress this time instead of an executive order, so it's lasting beyond him. The big news of the week is going to come on Friday. We'll be talking about that later in the week. That would be the personal consumption expenditure. That's the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. So that's coming out later in the week. And I did tell you yesterday that the consumer confidence came out. But the one thing that was not strong in consumer confidence was the discussion about people's job feelings of their job security. If they're not feeling happy about their job security, they're probably not going to keep spending as much money as they've been spending. And we'll see that when we get GDP numbers coming out this week as well. Again, that's why you want to have that Home Select. If you're worried about your job, the Home Select loan solves that problem for you, because if you've got the equity, you don't have to make a payment, and they don't care. GetHomeselect.com. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Today on Ron Siegel Radio, we're diving into one of the most overlooked bottlenecks in business growth, back office chaos. Our guest, Krista Tucker, is the CEO of Avail Outsource, powerhouse in strategic operations. She's here to explain why growing businesses need operational structure, not more hustle. Whether you're a solopreneur wearing every hat or a CEO trying to scale smart, Krista's insights can help you refocus on what really drives results. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks for letting me be here.
So I share frequently. I've worn many hats, and I'm old, so I've worn them for many years. I had a business, an import-export business, for about 20 years. Running that business, I realized, one of the things that, again, then at Merrill Lynch, the entrepreneur knows the answer to every question. Just ask them.
Yep. That's absolutely true.
Right? I mean,
yep, 100%.
and it's a shame because we end up getting to a point that we don't know what we don't know, and bringing somebody in with expertise, we don't realize that we need it.
That's right. I run into that a lot, actually. And it's not even always expertise. It's always also just extra hands and extra attention to what they can't spread themselves more thin on.
Well, we can work more hours, right?
Yeah, right. That's exactly the
we're
mentality.
Up to 24. Can't we go a little longer?
Yep. And that is that's the mindset of many CEOs.
So you find that also?
Also, yes, a lot of times. In fact, that's kind of why I built my business, because I saw a need in the market for small to mid-sized businesses, because those owners have a mentality of I can do it all, and end up getting stuck and not being able to get where they want to be in growth of their business, because they can't do it all. You have to admit that at some point when you're building your business.
Well, either when you're building it or when you're shutting it down, one or the other.
That's true. That is true. Yes, absolutely.
Because most small business owners, they started their business because of a passion for something.
Yep, 100%. Or a skill that they wanted to bring to the market.
Okay, yeah. And most of them, from my perspective, they didn't start their business for the idea of compliance.
Nope.
And being an HR manager. So how do you solve that problem?
So, well, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but what I like to do is be able to come in and be seen as the executor. So I work well.
Not the execution.
Not the executioner.
Okay.
We work very well with visionaries, which is typically the CEO mindset. You have a vision for your business. You want to go and build it in this direction and have all these things that you want to do. But execution can take time away from your step forward. So partnering with them in that way, being able to be a duplicate of them in the space of their business, can really allow them to grow at a super speed.
So what do you mean by being a duplicate of them? What does that mean?
So when a CEO is trying to manage all aspects of their business, the vendor relations, the staff, the actual service of what they're doing, bookkeeping, for example, they aren't able to execute all of the things. If they were to step outside of themselves and hire somebody, right? The trust there is something that CEOs have a hard time getting over. Can I trust you to do it in the same way that I would do it? If you're hiring multiple vendors, that CEO has to make sure that they're in tune with all of those vendors at once to make sure that they're on task in the way that they would want the job to be done. So when I say a duplicate of them, it would be me or my staff or my team being able to come in and execute in the same manner that they would if they were in that place, and hold the vendors, staff, and et cetera accountable for the job that they want done in the way that they would want it done for their company, as if they were doing it themselves.
So are you full-time part of that the company then? Or do you do part-time, or how do you work?
It's like a fractional.
Okay.
So it would be as needed in the office if that was something that they required. But most of my clients, we have the ability to work outside of the office with them and just manage the day-to-day from a perspective of remote with them.
So what is the benefit of hiring somebody remotely or fractional, as you put it, as opposed to bringing on more people? Or do you help them bring on more people?
It depends. It depends on the size of the company and the need. So yes, I have helped staff up a company. I've helped manage the team that's inside of the company, the vendors, etc. What the benefit of having a fractional COO or fractional person in this manner is big box executive C-suite level execution at a fractional price. So you're not paying for that multiple level C-suite for your smaller company at that price that you would normally have to do if you brought them in full time.
And that's a big issue. I know when I had a company, when we were real small, couldn't afford anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get bigger, you can't afford not to have.
Right.
That's those are some of the big issues. We're going to come back and talk more with Krista. When we come back, I want to talk about what's the difference between a fractional COO and a consultant or a vendor manager. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694452.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit RonSiegelRadio.com. Do you own a luxury home or planning to purchase one? If so, your home may be your largest asset, but your mortgage may also be your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team is offering amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates in the 3%, and 15-year rates in the 2s. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com or call me directly. My number is 800-306-1990, licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. The secret to selling your house in today's market. A few years ago, homes were flying off the shelves and getting multiple offers well over their asking price. It felt like you could name your price and still have buyers lined up at the door. But today's housing market is different. Buyers are getting more selective now that inventory has grown. Homes are sitting a little longer, and more sellers are having to cut their prices. So how do you still come out on top? It all starts with one thing: pricing your house right from the start. Today, that matters more than ever, and it can make or break your sale. Want to know what's happening in your market, the competition in your market? It's very, very simple. Go to rsrlinks.com/market report. rsrlinks.com/market report. We put that out each and every week, and it tells you what's going on in your zip code. It's getting pretty close to you. And don't forget, follow what the builders are doing, right? Just set the price and offer that special financing deal. There's a real disconnect between buyers and sellers. A survey from Realtor.com shows 81% of home sellers believe they'll get their asking price or more. But the actual sales data shows there's a growing gap between what sellers expect and what buyers are actually willing to pay. In fact, an annual report from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows 44% of recently sold homes went for less than the asking price, and 1 in 3 sellers had to cut their price at least once before the home sold. It's a sign that expectations may be a little out of step with today's reality. Check out the graph if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed. It uses data from Redfin to show that asking prices, blue line, are higher than actual sales prices, green line, by a wider and wider margin. This tells you something important. Not all buyers are willing to pay what many sellers are asking. That doesn't mean you can't sell for a great price, but it does mean you need to start with a price that reflects what people are willing to pay in today's market. If you want to sell your house for the most money possible, I've done shows to tell you exactly how to do it. And oh yes, you can access them whenever you want. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. What happens when you overprice your house? Pricing your house high initially may seem like a smart move, so you have more room to negotiate. But the reality is an overpriced home can sit on the market and turn buyers away. Buyers are smart, and when they see a house that's been sitting for a while, can you say blood in the water, boys and girls? They start to wonder what's wrong with it. That can lead to fewer showings, less interest, and eventually a price cut to reignite attention. As Realtor.com explains, quote, by getting the right price early on, you can increase the odds buyers will be interested in the home. In turn, this decreases the chances the home will sit on the market for a lengthier timeline, also reducing the odds you'll need to lower the price at listing, unquote. Longer a house sits, harder it can be to sell. Why aren't you offering that 5.99% interest rate that I told you about yesterday? Not everyone qualifies, but you control that. You still have a great opportunity if you price your house right to avoid making this mistake. It's important to lean on an agent who knows what's happening locally when you set your asking price. Your agent will look at recent local sales, buyer trends, and inventory levels to find that pricing sweet spot for your neighborhood. And here's something else to keep in mind. Home prices have climbed more than 57% over the last 5 years. Yahoo! Yeah, I like that idea. Up 57% over the last 5 years. So even if you price a bit below the number you had your site set on, you'll likely still be in a great position profit-wise. With the local real estate agent's help, you'll attract more attention, avoiding seeing your house sit on the market too long, and maximize chances of getting a strong offer. Today's market, the price works. As Mike Simonson, founder at Altos Research, explains, quote, the best properties, well-priced, are selling quickly in most of the country, unquote. The market has changed, but your opportunity to sell has not. You just need the right pricing plan. Let's walk through what's happening with prices in our area and determine what price would help your house sell quickly for top dollar. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. We are continuing our conversation this morning. Krista Tucker is with us. Avail Outsource?
Yes.
Avail Out. Got to get the company name right. I saw it on the screen here, and I don't know why I second guessed
Avail is the most important.
Avail is the most important part. Okay, so we're talking the last segment about fractional COO. How's that different from just hiring a consultant or a vendor manager? And what does the average CEO get wrong about back office strategies?
Well, the
Lot there to unpack, right?
right. The difference, I think, is really relies in the strategy part of it. Fractional COO can sit with the CEO and strategize for the entire business rather than just one segment of the business. So if you're hiring a vendor, they're going to specialize in that place that they bring to you, or that service that they bring to you. Same as if you were to hire staff, they're going to specialize in the area that you hired them for. Fractional COO can really come in, sit with the CEO, and figure out what the goals are and what the solutions to meet those goals would be, and then implement from that point forward. We'll build in the processes, procedures, and execute everything to reach the level that the CEO is really wanting for the business.
And so when you're talking about execute, so that leaves the CEO to go and do what he or she really does.
Yes. So that's the goal. And kind of the reason I love doing what I do is to be able to free up the time for the CEO to go back to doing what they really started the business for what they love. And then also being able to free them up to be business development, to do sales and bring in more business for their company to grow.
So my guess is that when somebody hires you, it doesn't cost anything. Right? Because the way I look at it is, if I can go and increase my business by 10 or 15 or 20%,
absolutely,
because I've got all this other stuff off my plate, or if I can go and enjoy my kids and grandkids, either way, it's a win.
Yes, absolutely. That's the real revenue that comes back. It's the time, it's the ability to have the stress off of your plate and breathe a little bit more.
How do you get the CEO, when you have that initial consultation, how do you get a CEO to really realize that this is in their best interest?
A lot of the times, CEOs are at the point of overwhelm when I speak to them, and they're very chaotic and pulled in so many different directions. They don't even know what one to do first. And when I have those conversations and I dig into, okay, well, what are you doing currently, and where are your pain points? It brings to light that these are things that maybe are on the to-do list that they haven't thought about in recent time, and they're starting to understand that it's something that needs to be handled, or they already know where their chaos is and they don't have time to do all of it. And I bring that solution to them to be able to go, oh my gosh, I don't have to deal with that anymore. That's amazing.
So what are some of the problems that you know about that? I just finished reading a book, and one of the common themes was you can't read the directions from inside the box.
That's true.
Right?
That's a good analogy.
So what are some of the things that you're able to see by bringing a fresh set of eyes?
Gosh, it depends. There are so many different things and different pain points for different industries and different CEOs. A lot of the time, the first thing that I see is chaos in the financial accounting space. Most CEOs that I work with, a lot of them don't have a pulse on where they're at financially. They're behind in their books. They have, catch up to do. And that creates a chaos that you don't even really realize, because you're not in your bank account can tell you one thing, but it doesn't tell you what your company is really doing. So that is the biggest part that I see first when I talk to CEOs.
So are you doing a audit before do you come in and do like an audit? Sounds like when you talk about that they're in desperation.
Yeah.
There's like, Krista, just take it and tell me what I need to do.
Yeah. So I don't have a structured audit, but in speaking in the consultation, it's kind of my own audit to see where the holes are. What is going on in the business? What is the scope of the growth path for the business? And what does the CEO really want to see? And that will allow me to see where I can plug in the right vendors, the right help, the right services, those types of things, to be able to streamline what they're trying to do.
So are you bringing in other outside sources and services as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So I partner with vendors as well. That's also something that is of value. I have a great network of vendors that I work with that can bring in those specialty services and skills if we need to bring people on for that client.
So many of us, if I guess maybe some of our listeners are confusing like I do. I misinterpret when you say vendors. I'm thinking in my world when I was in import export, I always called vendors were the people that I bought my merchandise from.
Yeah,
right? But I guess it could be my PEO company
or your payroll company,
payrolls,
yeah,
CPA.
Yep.
So you really have to expand the scope of what the word vendor really means there.
It's all the different elements of the business. It's the backbone of any business. You need a CPA, you need an attorney, you need a payroll company, you may need a 401k, you know, all of the elements that are maybe not the shiny stuff of the business, but the stuff that is really the thing that propels the business forward. You're going to need a team of experts, and it's time consuming to manage all of that. And the CEO shouldn't have to do that alone.
Well, it's time consuming to manage them, and it's time consuming to find the right ones.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because then you're dealing with, okay, I got to go shopping for this while I'm trying to run my business over here. When we come back, I want to chat with you. I'm going to give you a little heads up.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm old. I got grandkids now. And what do grandkids like? They like stories. So I want to get a good story from you, someone you've helped, and where we might be able to learn from some interesting stories you might be able to share with us. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564, complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. As usual, I talk too much, so I'm just going to give you the touts of our friends with the Get Home Select program. Now, I talk all the time. I hear people that are saying, I'm just buried by my job. I hate what I'm doing, and I'm worried, but I've got this mortgage payment, or I'm getting ready to retire, and I still have a mortgage that I have to deal with. Well, the Home Select solves that. Now, we want people that have good, steady income, but maybe you don't want to get the reverse mortgage. And I love the reverse mortgage. I got one for my parents. But what I'm going here is the Home Select program. If you've got equity, it's going to be the best loan on the market for you, because if you don't want to make a payment, don't make a payment. You want to go on vacation and skip the payment. Or if you want to have your house paid off free and clear and still have liquidity, because as a certified liability advisor helping families build wealth through strategic debt management, I am always looking at safety, liquidity, and return, and it is the best loan on the market. Borrow smart, as I tell you. Borrow smart, repay smart. Borrow Smart segment brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. Continuing our conversation, we are chatting about one of my favorites. I love the idea of outsourcing because it gives us the ability of living life. Krista Tucker is with us. Avail Outsource is the name of the company. And it's story time. I don't have any hot chocolate for you, but give us some ideas of some stories where you've really been able to help somebody.
There's so many, and I love the thought through what I've been able to do over the course of my career. I think that one of my favorites is coming into we won't be specific about the client,
Sure.
but coming into a client's office and seeing really the CEO trying to manage a staff of 10 and having vendors that are calling her constantly, and then also seeing the network of their IT solution, even very compartmentalized, meaning it was an office structure, but it was built like it was a home structure. So everybody was individually on their own computer, no network in place, no securities, etc. It was just a quick growth. The company had grown fast and they hadn't been able to get organized into that next level. And she was just completely overwhelmed and stressed out all the time because it was burdening her, all of these things that needed to get done. And she just didn't have the bandwidth to do it all herself. We came in and formulated a plan to execute and roll out the different stages, starting with the IT solution to make sure that they were all secure. Everybody was on a network and it was streamlined so that it was, a lot more clean for the office, the inner office to work. And then from there, we rolled into looking at her finances, the books, the bookkeeping, making sure that got caught up. She was a few months behind. We got that caught up. And then rolled into, okay, what are we going to do for your growth? What's the next stage of your business? Which ended up being, bringing on the elements of the HR side of things. Let's start doing some benefits for your employees. Let's start looking at what kinds of things we can do to bring up not maybe bring up the morale, but increase all of the exciting things for why the employees come to work.
I think when the leader is frustrated, the rest of the organization gets frustrated. They feed off of that.
Absolutely.
And if you've got a real, I experienced this many, many times years ago. Stress can be from a growing business too, a very successful growing business.
Yep.
That can be just as stressful as a failing business.
Absolutely. In fact, sometimes it's more. It's
Right.
more stressful because sometimes the CEOs sometimes don't even know what they don't, like you were saying earlier, they don't know what they don't know until they get hit with it. And sometimes that's a negative. It
Sure.
can be in compliance world. That can be a really bad thing, especially in California, running a business in the HR side of things. There's so many things to consider. It can be overwhelming for a CEO to try and understand and make sure that all those elements are covered. And even if you hire a vendor to handle that, those vendors, they're not hired to come in and work your office. They're hired to be on call if you need stuff, or if you want to have them execute a handbook. So, like, for example, but they're not going to be your go-to to say, okay, well, I didn't understand that if this was happening in the office, that you weren't going to come and tell me that I needed to be paying attention to that. That's where my role would come in, because I know all of those elements and when to call in the right experts to handle what's happening in the office.
How hard is it to get the buy-in from the CEOs?
It's challenging because they initially look at it as an expense and not a revenue builder for them. But if I can help them understand what you explained earlier, the element of bringing their time back, and that their time is valuable, what they're spending on what they're doing currently is not the best use of their time for their growing business, then they can see it. And if they have the pain points that they can feel already, that typically helps.
Yeah, if they're in pain and realize that maybe there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
It's not the train.
Yes, exactly.
What do you find is most rewarding about what you're doing?
Oh man, I love to see the deep breath of relief, and being able to help my client move up to the next stage of their business. I love to see growth in people that have stepped into their world of wanting to bring something to market, to be able to see it get to the next stage for them, and the excitement that comes from that.
You have to work. Are you working with them on exit strategies too?
Exit for like the business exit?
Right, trying to figure out, how to what do they want out of it? As far as, are you wanting to grow it? Are you wanting to transfer it to the next generation? Are you trying to go public?
Yes, because ultimately those determine how fast and what direction you want to go. And we also can help with that as well. But yeah, I mean, that is all part of the scope of the initial consultation, because you have to understand that in order to see where their mind is going to be.
So what advice are you going to give someone who just doesn't want to let go? Because the entrepreneur, the founder, they're used to doing it all.
Yeah, yeah. I think the best advice would be, well, I usually say you have to have a little bit of trust. You have to have a little bit of leap of faith, basically. If you want to see your business get to the other side, you have to take that leap of faith and know that you can't handle it all. You can't. You just can't do it alone.
I had a friend of mine one time who believed she had to do everything, and I said to her, if you let's just say you're right, that you're a score of 100.
Yeah.
I said, now if the most you can do in a day is 100.
Right.
But if you can hire 370s,
yep,
you've outdone yourself.
That's an absolutely great analogy.
Right. I mean, because you just can't. And especially like you said, in California, it's a litigious area.
Yep, it really is.
And the state's always looking to get more revenue by putting more regulation.
That's right. That's right.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Well, it's great information. I love listening, and you probably get to do what I like. I love studying business.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you're probably getting, okay, I studied kind of a little bit of this business, a little bit of that business, and that business, and I can bring them all together. And
yeah, and cross collaborate. It's really nice, and I really enjoy meeting people like you do, and learning about what their goals are, and being able to help them reach their goals is really exciting for me.
I bet when you see somebody get to that, that aha moment, or take a deep breath.
Yes. Yes.
Or maybe even the entrepreneur that gets to go on vacation.
Yeah. Or spend time with their family, and know that, know that I've got it, that we've got it, that we're going to handle it. And you don't have to worry about that part anymore. Most of my clients have been with me for, 10 years, because they really value that piece, because once they have it, they don't ever want to go back.
Yeah. Once you understand, because when they first hired you,
yeah,
they're probably doing it in a nervous sense.
Absolutely.
Right?
Or
Somebody told
reactionary.
them they should have. Yeah, reaction, exactly. Somebody told them they need it. Somebody told them they should do it. And, they're, okay, I'm going to put my toe in the water.
Yes. Yes.
And then when they jump in and realize that, it does make for a better life and a better business.
Then they can't wait to give more stuff away.
And I bet that happens all the time.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Great information. If you want more information or if you want to talk to Krista, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And if you're watching us on our replays, availoutsource.com. Availoutsource.com is how you can reach Krista as well. And again, always call me, 800-306-1990. And as always, we ask that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you want to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 at ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.